Hi, Dad. Augustine is watching. What's up, bro?
Random text. Basik text.
Hi, Dad.
What's up, Augustine?
Hey, Augustine.
I love you. Nigga.
There you go, Natty. Here we are
Yeah, we here.
with another Basic Conversations.
Back at the crib.
You're back at the crib.
Basic crib, basic bib, basic tips.
Big business. Big business.
Big business.
Big business. We got Rodrigo in the background. You probably won't see him, but he
Working
will
on
be there.
shit.
He,
Sciencey
who
shit.
knows? Who knows if he'll show his face?
Yeah.
But as we get into this conversation,
We got a couple
and
comments.
we are Saturday in of February.
Yes, sir. We got a special guest coming up this next pod too.
Yo,
I guess we can announce it, but we got Casso.
Senor Casso.
Casso Music.
I can't wait to have the conversation with him, man. I've only seen him. I've actually only met him twice.
Bro, what was it?
The first time when we went to Lowtown Studios.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And then I think the second time,
I think that was the first time for us.
or maybe 3 times. But I know I've seen him at a show, and I felt like I've seen him at another like spot as well. But we just didn't get ready to chat like that.
Fair.
So it'd be nice to see him again. How was your week overall, though?
Oh man, busy dude. Every day we're in the studio now. Like every day, dude. Like Monday through Friday now.
I actually wanted to ask earlier how was that photo shoot? Y'all did a photo shoot, right?
Planning a photo shoot.
Planning a photo shoot.
Yeah. Well, depends because there's a couple of things photo shoots being planned.
Oh, okay.
There's one for like a rebrand stuff, but then that's on hold right now. Then there's Spaceman stuff.
Okay.
Which can't talk about that.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
There's that, and then I'm trying to remember they were trying to do Spaceman stuff in general. Then the 11th show. So.
Okay.
So many things. But like this whole week was like a hybrid of like meetings, like starting the week to like set the motion for everything and track progress, and then in the middle was just like sessions getting done. Like, yeah, a lot of music's getting done. A lot of stuff's gonna be released this year.
Hell yeah!
Like the clip is gonna be loaded for at least another year and a half.
You feel like 2024 is like that you're trying to put out a lot of stuff?
Beginning of it, yes.
Yeah.
Beginning of it, because there's gonna be even more. Like obviously, we even got the Smash tourney that like right now I'm trying to get the creative assets because I know exactly what we're gonna do for the tournaments. We have 8 matches overall. It's gonna be a 3-hour event.
Oh,
like
3 hours.
You know.
Okay.
I want to treat it like WWE, but right now we just need to get it announced and get it set up because DJ is gonna give us full permission.
Exactly.
And we're gonna have the HDMI's by the time of it, so we'll have the 3 camera views.
Yeah.
And we're gonna use the Rodecaster with the Shure for the mics.
Okay.
So we'll just need headphones. So if anything, bring headphones.
All right, and then
That's it.
A 3 hour, man. Okay, we're definitely gonna.
Well, not 3 hour. Let me rephrase that. We're still gonna have the same amount of time that we had the last time, but the goal of it would be like it's 3 hours of programming.
Okay.
So
all right.
streaming wise and recorded video wise,
like
hey,
that.
be ready.
Right.
Like this 3 hour slot, we gotta be like on our shit, and then while having fun, you know what I mean. But then the rest of it will be more casual.
All right. Okay.
And I think that we'll have like casual games on the side as well.
I like that
Because I think that's just crucial in between matches. Just have something. You know what I mean?
Like what Rodrigo wanted to do, like the group battles.
Yeah, like even if we had like another TV.
Yo.
Just for like in between friendlies.
Because that's something I would have liked to have done if we had.
I think that's good for warm up. Just no
3v3 type shit, chaotic type shit.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't want to just let everyone know on live podcast, but you know.
Oh yeah.
Shit's been doing work, man. It's just been a lot of that.
I mean, there's a lot of things that we're trying to do and that we want to implement, and it's all gonna come into fruition within time. For sure. But first, the first topic of the day that I wanted to get into, or tonight, Microsoft potentially stopping production of consoles, Xbox exactly. But mainly just because someone told me at work that Microsoft was going to stop making Xboxes, and I was like, what the fuck? I actually got to look into that because that's wild.
At first, like hearing is like shock factor already.
Yeah,
like, what? Like that's never not been the case.
And so, I mean, as I was making these notes, it seems like Phil Spencer, he's like I guess the CEO of Xbox, and he said he promises that Xbox won't stop making consoles and will have an update in the coming week. But when I first heard about it, I actually did look into it, and the fact is I mean, if he's saying that, it's more like it seems like I'm pretty interested in what they're going to do for Xbox in general, because this is the reason why it seemed like Xbox was going to stop the production of the consoles, because it seems like Microsoft is planning to go into multi-platform with popular games like Gears of War, Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush, which I have no idea what that is. Okay. Starfield, and then I didn't know Indiana Jones was coming up with an upcoming game, but that's the case. But there's word that that's going to be being shared with the Sony on PlayStation 5. And so, like, other factors, just like in 2023, Sony, they've sold 22.5 million PS5s compared to the Xbox Series selling only 7.6 million units. Okay. And in a lifetime, Sony has sold about 50 million, and Xbox has only sold 25 million. So overall, that's kind of like, in the perspective of business, it's like why it seems like I would see why they would stop the production of it, and even Microsoft itself, they're trying to grow as an overall company, and I've always wondered why, even if Sony were to keep making PlayStations, where did they stop at a certain point?
Yeah, like what's like number 5, number 6, number 7, like, and to me it's like it's kind of, I don't know if there ever is a stopping point. Like the idea is like capitalism, right? Like you're just growing it. Maybe the concept changes, and you'll rebrand and you'll repivot, and then it's like, now this is the real PS1. But it's like, but what was about the other PS1? It's like, yeah, they're shut up. You know what I mean? And it's like different generation. I feel like we haven't lived long enough to feel the end of that premise.
I mean, I wonder, PlayStation. You think? I don't know what the PlayStation 5 holds, because I haven't really fully enveloped myself in the PlayStation 5, except for like maybe 10 minutes of minimal fucking gameplay. But maybe I still haven't seen
Final Fantasy 16 purely out of wanting to buy a PS5.
Fuck, bro.
No, I'm so dead. Like I can't. Like until it gets on PC or on Nvidia Game Store, I can't. Like I've avoided all forms of content and gameplay about Final Fantasy 16.
Damn, so
I'm so deadass. Yeah, like I don't know nothing about
Final Fantasy. Is it multiplayer?
That one is 14.
14? Oh, yeah, 14. Okay. But 16 is just like a
story. Yeah, the most recent story one, and it's kind of like a Devil May Cry as a game designer did this one. So it's not just a action RPG purely in the sense of like turns, but actually like action RPG.
Okay, I like that. And so with that, like, I put the question is if like Microsoft has reached a saturated point in Xbox or overall consoles in general, like, will Sony reach a point in that? And with Phil Spencer promising Xbox won't stop making consoles, I'm curious to like myself is what will happen with Microsoft in general, because they do have Xbox right now has a Game Pass that I recently bought because they have a library full of fucking games.
And tell me about it, like what's been your experience with that?
Bro, it's been fucking great. And so like that's what I'm saying. Reading into this is there's a rising 33.3 million subscribers into the thing because it's $10.99 a month or $9.99 a month. And myself, I enjoy it because I'm not trying to spend like $70 on what games are these days.
Fair.
I'm very, very picky on what I do like to buy in games. Like right now, Fortnite seems to be my main game that I would play, just because it's competitive. It just keeps going. And then I overall love single player games, but again, even within that like atmosphere, I'm very picky because I love a story enriched game. or even games, yeah, or even like a choice-based game where like as the story progresses, what you do,
Bethesda stuff,
what you do affects the overall story. So like, I don't think I've ever played a game that has multiple. I've played many games that have multiple endings, but I don't think there's any game I played where I played more than twice to achieve a different ending. There's been a few where I've tried to see like, oh shit, where could this go if I did this, but I don't really invest myself into that like that deep because like it is a deep game where it takes you have to think about the choices and it takes a while to even finish the game itself. But I'm very picky on games itself. So with the Game Pass, it is consumer friendly in regards of like $9.99 a month, but some developers do feel it disregards their work into their games that they make. Where Call of Duty series as a whole and the recent Baldur's Gate 3, it seems like right now they're not gonna be in the Game Pass. Which I would love to play Baldur's Gate 3, man, because I'm still mad about that shit. I bought, what was it? I can believe it. Diablo 4, which I bought, and it turned out to be a flop for me, man. I never heard of Baldur's Gate. And then
because it was the one after Divinity Original Sin 2, but they changed the name because they wanted to be different.
Never heard of
that hurts. That hurts basically.
Never heard of Baldur's Gate.
And you also didn't get Monster Hunter 2, bro. You about to be broke.
Well, like I said, man, I think on the pass itself it has the Monster Hunter Rise.
Yes, it does.
Because
Game Pass, right?
Yeah, on the Game Pass, I think it has.
Welcome.
Yo.
All right. Now you just gotta get the DLC.
Bitch, fucking DLC. Fucking DLC. Fuck.
They always get you. They always get you. They always get you.
So, I mean, how do you feel with, like, the gaming atmosphere as a whole?
It's actually...
Baldur's Gate 3, I feel like it has enough content, but there's so many games where, like, you have to invest. Like, okay, there's DLCs or Game Passes.
I think it's the golden era, bro. Like, I can understand if someone had like a gloom and doom ideology of it, but bro, I'm just like, this is the golden era of gaming, man. It's growing at an exponential rate.
It is.
Publishers are selfish as fuck. That kind of doesn't change.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I mean, dude, now is the best time to make a game. Well, 10 years ago was the best time to make a game. Now is, next best time. Like, there's so many tools available. Like, you can get your own pixel art game if you want to. Mm-hmm. Granted, looking at 5 figures to get a really good project going off the ground, like fairly decent, and then like a couple million, like these are big funds, right? So you want to get like venture capital, like you want to get like a pitch deck together, like you have to have a premise of what you're trying to do. You don't just like, I want to just make a game, like
of course,
it's gonna be difficult to kind of enter in unless you got like connects like that. So I'm just saying now it's a fun time to do it if you have the want to do it.
Oh, for real. Man, fucking one game that I'm excited for, but I don't know if I will play it only because like it is like it's like Darksiders kind of type game. I forgot what other game I could compare it to, but it's about the monkey god.
The Sun Wukong?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I think I know the one you're talking about. It was like a role-playing action player game, like action RPG.
Yep. That's pretty much what it's gonna be. It looks fun as hell, man.
I saw the trailer for that one too.
It seems like one of the most interesting games that's gonna come out. Within like character design, the story. But overall, what are your thoughts? Phil Spencer says that they're not gonna stop making consoles, but what does that mean? Xbox consoles as a whole, or if they're gonna release other products? So even then, what do you feel
open. Like? I think they left it pretty
knowing
open.
This information that Sony seems to be in the lead of overall consoles, because as I was reading this, the Nintendo Switch, they kind of have like no place in this, only because they found their niche of where their quality doesn't really matter, because their focus is on like family oriented games and just to have fun overall.
Fun is just
little notification.
Hey,
but
shout out Graham. Graham's
fucking
online.
Graham, bro.
Oh no, we might have to crash that live for a second.
Graham.
Fucking.
But how do you feel with? I mean, even if they're gonna produce consoles, like as a business, it's it. I mean, is it worth it for them? Or
I don't think so. As a person that doesn't know their business, but like I would hope that there's a benefit for them to do it if they continue to do it. Because to me, like there's a culture of it, right? Like, oh, you get the latest PS this or that, and it's like proprietary, so you get to own like the means by which people like interact with your company. I guess So there's always a bit of that. I guess that's cool, but is it necessary? I don't think so. I need to think longer on it to really figure out why or to know why. But
I mean, with this, I am curious where Microsoft is really gonna. I wonder what Phil Spencer is gonna announce overall because. I mean, reading the fact that Sony is overall in the lead of like the console wars. Because also I didn't even mention that Microsoft it seems to be planning to go multi-platform because of games like Gears of War, Sea of Thieves,
which are all like MMORPGs.
Yeah, so it's just it does bring out the fact like if they go multi-platform with a variety of games,
MMOs,
is it really gonna be? Are people going to be wanting to buy an Xbox? Is it going to be a loyalty brand kind of thing?
I mean, it can. I think there will be some of that for sure. But I feel like just because they're doing this, they're really just setting themselves up for the win of the majority of people that are gaming. Because we had a conversation off camera. What's it called? That's just where people are going right now. Yeah. So people are interacting with Microsoft. It's like we're on PCs. We're not. We didn't necessarily buy a console. It's a little bit more expensive and hard to find because PS5. Remember when that bitch came out? Bro. She was hard, bro. Dudes was scalping the lows, bro. Yeah. I knew a nigga who was flaked. Like he would get them at the low and just. It was actually a hustle. It was impressive to see.
Yeah, PS5. They definitely. Well, I mean, it shows. I mean, these numbers itself show like PS5 definitely just.
It moved. That shit was like cocaine.
It moved. Yes.
That was PS5.
Especially during the time of COVID because, bro, microprocessor was just, like, hard to come by. They were just taking long to fucking get produced.
Low resource.
But, I mean, overall, people watching this and when this gets posted on YouTube, what do you feel about, like, Microsoft seemingly... it seems like they're not going to stop making consoles, but even as they continue to make consoles, do you feel you're gonna, if you yourself are a Microsoft fan, will you stick with buying Xbox consoles or whatever they come out with, or will you perhaps move to Sony? But as the next topic comes in, we're going into the Super Bowl. Overall, just embracing sports betting. I have not much to say in this, just in over fact. I think gambling as a whole. And not even just gambling, just how much America kind of like accepts an overall society, because it seems like there's been a shift in balance where, like in the 1920s, the Roaring 20s, where gangsters were coming in, it seems there's a lot of alcohol being shifted, gambling. People doing, whatever the fuck they want. I mean, here in Texas itself, and in Fort Worth, we used to have a general district called Hell's Half Acre where it was involved a lot of gambling, strippers, prostitution. But in the topic of Super Bowl itself, they embrace sports betting because now, at predicting 6 to 8 million U.S. adults will be betting on this year's game, which is this Sunday. Of course, this will be uploaded, I think, on Thursday. So this will be after the Super Bowl, and there will be a declared winner, which I had.
all that would just be the drama.
And this, people that will be listening to this on the Thursday, I think just overall gambling, if you gamble and whatnot, there's a prediction of 68 million U.S. adults that will be betting on this year's game. 35% more gamblers than last year's, with the record of $5.1 million worth of bets, which is $16 billion more than last year's. And there's reports that it's expected to grow exponentially within the next 10 years.
Okay.
Which, funny enough, within this last week, I've been looking into myself. How can you really invest into sports? There is sports betting overall. That is one of the things. But apparently, if you were to get into stocks as an example, you would want to look into like ESPN, Fox, Microsoft, because Amazon, because Microsoft and Amazon themselves. As I've been watching football recently this last season, every game, all the commentators and everybody using Microsoft surfaces.
That's fair.
That's one thing I noticed, bro, watching these games.
Fair.
I'm like, bro, they use a lot of Microsoft devices, and they're using
just like seating
yes,
themselves,
and they have the covers of the surfaces. I'm like, bro, that's mad promotion. And with Amazon, when I watch shows or movies, they usually have this ad where the NFL themselves, they use Amazon AI where it predicts like all these stats. And it just goes to show you should, if you were to get into stocks and whatnot, you should invest into Amazon and Microsoft. They seem to really be pushing the boundaries of their businesses, and who knows where they're going to go in the next 5 to 10 years. And then with the betting, NFL, apparently they seem to have tried to distance themselves before in the fear of credibility, which I understand, just because gambling itself is just not, I guess,
it's
accepted.
Actual legal thing.
I mean, it's not really accepted. I mean, it was a thing before as the United States grew as a country, but within time it just became like, how do you say? It just wasn't a thing. It wasn't accepted. But now we have casinos. Casinos, and then now sports betting was legalized in 2018.
Which was a whole new wave in and of itself with stake in them.
So yeah, I mean, credit, but now they really don't care just because simply money. I mean, if they can make money, they're gonna go through with this. So like in 2021, NFL made deals with like DraftKings, FanDuel, and Caesars, which I don't know what Caesars is, if it's an app. I am familiar with DraftKings and FanDuel, but if Caesars, I only assume it's a Caesar hotel in Las Vegas. But it seems like they've made deals where it would pay the NFL league nearly $1 billion through 2026. And we are in 2024 now, so they got 2 more years.
Jeez.
And they're making money.
Stacking.
So, Natty, I guess I would get your take in more. Like, what do you feel about, I mean, football or like sports betting? How do you feel like the capitalistic like input of it?
I think it's valuable. I mean, it's like an exchange, right? Like providing an experience, and in that exchange of experience, you help keep it around longer. It's like you always have to be aware of what's being actually exchanged. Like, what's the value being brought to the person purchasing what they're purchasing? Is it an experience? Is it not? Is it a particular Sonic? Is it a specific like a storytelling? Just those type of things.
And do you feel sports as almost like scripted as shows?
I won't say it's as scripted, but the storytelling is more evident, or the narratives tend to outline themselves pretty consistently in recent years. Whether it's because a reporter lacks creativity or just capturing odd moments, I'd say that is the thing for sure. I
feel that. And I mean, with me looking into like sports betting, I mean, not even sports betting. I'm looking into. I was recently reading. That's the whole reading an article of like investing into sports, because sports seems to be moving big. Honestly, I was gonna say the NFL was rigged. I mean, right now I'm not sure. But I was gonna say
for real. To be honest, no, maybe.
I was gonna say it was rigged.
That's hilarious.
I was gonna say the NFL was rigged because I saw like someone sharing it on Facebook. If the Chiefs won and if the Detroit Lions won for the Super Bowl, because I mean the Chiefs have Taylor Swift dating that Kelsey guy, and then Detroit Lions again. Detroit has Eminem as an artist overall, so I think they would have made like a whole Super Bowl like fandom kind of thing.
I see the vision. I think we're still a good call, not to go that route per se, but maybe something that was just more concrete.
I mean, just that's my little intake on that. To those watching again, how do you feel with the Super Bowl embracing sports betting? Do you invest in sports, or I mean, invest in sports, or do you bet on sports like FanDuel and DraftKings? I mean, is it even worth it if you want to do sports betting? Unless you know the game, or if you have someone making the bets for you, something like that.
Okay.
Because I know there is others. Because I had someone that I worked with once where I did actually do a little bit of sports betting. But I didn't.
Sport?
I did it for boxing and basketball.
Okay.
I don't know if my friend still does it, but he's the one that got me into it. We would go through this website. We would make bets. I got my bets from him, though. Like, he had this group chat that I wasn't involved in. I would just talk to him.
Gotcha. That's probably like a signal chat.
Yeah, exactly. And so it is interesting. So, I mean, even personally myself, I would actually like to get into sports betting if I actually understood the whole scope of the game. Again, I actually just got into watching NFL this last season, and it's been enjoyable, but like the whole stats and stuff, it's pretty wild to think about. Like, I really don't understand the whole concept of everything. It is nice watching these players, and I do have my intake of different players watching this season. I do plan on watching the Super Bowl myself, and I don't really have a team I'm going for, but the 49ers I'm interested only because I've seen 2 games. Purdy himself is a good quarterback, and it seems like they've made their moments where they make the whole team viable, or the whole team is utilized. The whole team is utilized. And then the Chiefs, all I've heard about them is that they seem to have a rough start. They're usually like an all-star team. This is their 4th Super Bowl in the last 5 years.
Which is insane.
Which overall insane. Who knows if it's scripted? I don't know, right? I really don't know. I like to think shit like that, but who knows? That's pretty wild if like sports overall is scripted to an extent, which I mean,
I've heard some things on the basketball end, you know.
So I mean, even then, I recently shared a video about one of the games the Chiefs had, and out of the 3 calls I saw, there was one I really questioned. I'm like, damn, that does look like that should have been called, but it wasn't called against them. And who knows? Maybe that call did cost the opposing team the game. So I mean, either way, I kind of like both of the teams for either or. I'm a Texas fan, so I'm for the Cowboys and the Houston Texans. So I've yet to make my decision on who I feel like should win the Super Bowl. Is there anything you like to add, Natty, overall?
I'm trying to think. Oh.
If that is okay.
No, yeah, and off the top, you know, it's like one of those moments whenever you get the question asked, and then it's like, then you get like the blank stare.
I know. I mean, again, I don't even have much to say myself besides all that.
Yeah.
But I guess we get on to this last topic. Before, I don't think there's else anything to add, and we have an article for it, so we get like a little synopsis out of it.
Okay.
Stan Altman, would like trillions of dollars. For chips, please, and not for like your Las Vegas casino chips. Overall, the microprocessing chips. I only made 2 points on this, and we'll read the article just to get more insight overall. But Sam Altman, from what I know, he was the CEO of OpenAI. He had a board of directors. He left because it seemed to be like
it was haphazard. Like it happened very quickly.
Yeah.
And it seemed to stem from like a disagreement with the board or something like that.
Something like that. He just wasn't getting. I guess because I think it seems like Sam Altman was actually trying to do the best for what AI was, and he wasn't agreeing with the board, so he left. Microsoft was hiring him, or they did hire him. I mean, they made a whole position for this man.
Literally.
Within in itself is just like he's an important character in the overall tech space. But OpenAI, there's so much backlash with him leaving because the company itself, the employees were planning to leave the company if he was not hired back on, and so it seemed like the board was was removed as a whole, and he was brought back. And then Microsoft, so they got a whole new board, and Microsoft was also introduced to seat onto the board.
Okay.
I mean, because when I heard about that, it was like a weird situation. I don't know shit about the whole tech space, but the fact that all happened, it seemed reasonable why Microsoft would get a seat because I mean they hired him on, but then it seemed like OpenAI wanted him back, and obviously it seemed like he wants to keep ownership of OpenAI because that is his business. But then it seemed like he made a space for Microsoft to come in because they did want to take him in. But it's a whole joint relationship.
That's tricky.
Which again, invest into Microsoft. But the second point I made was, so he wants to rate. Oh, actually, I didn't even get to the first point. Sam, he wants to try to raise as much as $7 trillion to expand the global production capacity of microprocessors. And so that's. Last year there was 527 billion worth of chips sold. But right now OpenAI has struggled to secure sufficient supply from the chip designer NVIDIA because that is their main producer, which sells much as which they are, again, as I was just saying, they sell much of the microprocessors for AI.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, it's just we could get into the topic of why he is trying to get the support because I don't know much of it myself, but
I think
they're getting into trillions of dollars.
Building your online business?
Oh God.
I think it's at the point now to where it's like he's such a valued brand that it's like just following him and where he goes and what he does is kind of the thing, you know what I mean? Just like see what he does. Because I feel like there are certain people who are that way where it's like just see what they're doing and where their attention's at.
Yeah. Because
they've proven to be valuable in every business or every they're what's the word? In every opportunity, I guess they've taken advantage of. It's like
exactly
they've left this particular mark on it. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things where I feel like we're just gonna be watching. We're gonna just keep watching the situation.
Well, actually,
especially with Microsoft now and how it's pivoting. So.
Which is actually a good point to bring up. Just a real quick insight before we get into the article. Warren Buffett, one of the newsletters I read, there's something I read where it seems like apparently Warren Buffett is as an investor, he doesn't like to get into foreign markets, but he did make a recent investment into a Japanese market, which I don't know, I can't really remember, but it actually worked out for him, which the fact is in the sight of watching people, Sam Altman as a figure, again creating OpenAI and then moving to Microsoft, it just shows if you watch a person as a whole who's made an actual move into the economy, if you see what they do, it seems like if you wanted to invest overall or maybe play a part in something, you would, watching these people, it shows what works and what will produce in the future.
Yeah, we'll actually, from the actual execution of it. Got it. No, I feel that, man.
Alright, so I'm finna, switch screens. This article raw. OpenAI CEO Sam seeking trillions to boost chip manufacturing for AI.
All right, man. Talk to us, Sammy.
Oh shit. Alright. Sam Altman reporting courting investors across the globe to raise trillions of dollars for artificial intelligence programs like his company owned ChatGPT. He's looking around $5 to $7 trillion. He's met with investors from United Arab Emirates and the CEO of SoftBank in recent weeks for the funding of the project. And he's also discussed it with the chip makers, including Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, which, again, Taiwan, if people don't know, they are one of the mass producers of chip processors. Even with myself, I haven't looked into it, but I wonder if America is even planning themselves, if they're looking for alternatives to chip processors, because I myself am worried about within the next 5 years what will happen with America and China, and if China will make a move on Taiwan, because they claim that Taiwan is their territory, but Taiwan right now is trying. I mean, they do declare themselves as a democratic country, but again, China is a fucking powerful country. They have, everything. They are struggling right now in a lot of aspects, but they are still a superpower in this world. So I'm curious to see what they will do in the next 5 years and how it actually will trigger the world, because if China was to make a move in Taiwan, that would definitely impact the whole overall of tech progression in the U.S. if the U.S. themselves have not made any progression to finding alternatives or themselves producing microchips.
Fair. Which that's like, it's like, ugh. The thought is so wild and foreign you initially think, but it's like right here in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, just imagine having that conversation, saying what you just said, like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So wild that we're here exponentially.
I mean, AI itself, I'm not even that familiar with. I'm still learning, to get in touch with some AI things,
mm-hmm.
but
which there's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the technology as a whole has definitely grown within the last 5 years, the last 10 years. I'm only happy that I'm getting into this whole perception of things right now, because it's only going to grow now. It's only going to grow. And I'm curious to see how much AI will advance, and where tech companies themselves are going to try to innovate every aspect of AI, or if they will move on from another thing. Let's see. Where can I continue this?
I just thought of something. Check it out. So, you know how the whole situation with AI and how the chips and all this stuff with Sam and all that?
Mm-hmm.
What if it's getting to the point to where they're doing that to get ahead with quantum computing? Because I can see that's where quantum computing can kind of come in the picture. I really feel like this is one of those situations I want Rod's thought on it, because I'm really trying to think it through and make sure I'm not saying just bullshit. But it's I feel like that could be tied into the decision making as to why.
I don't know jack shit about quantum computing except from what? Where the fuck Rod go?
He went in the other room. That's what I'm
saying.
He
went in the other room.
He's the hacks. That's the hacks.
I mean, we could bring him in on this unless you just want to share the information you know. I do want to end this article with the fact that let's see, what does it say? Is semiconductor the new chip oil? The semiconductor industry forecasts a 13% jump in global chip production sales to about 500, almost 600 billion this year, compared with the drop of 8% sales in 2023. Altman's efforts to raise funds to expand chip manufacturing have the blessing of tech giant Microsoft. Again, they are the biggest investor into this. With them having Sam Altman on their side, the creator of OpenAI, who started the front of AI as a whole. Microsoft Let's see. Altman's efforts to raise the funds, expand check bank for having the blessing of tech Microsoft. It seems when Microsoft declined to comment to anybody right now. Just I guess they don't want to say if they have if they're investing so much into Sam Altman or if they have that much of a bond with him, because again they are a business and who knows. I guess if they invest into him as a person, maybe it says something and they don't want to announce that. Wow, and that kind of ends it right there with this article.
It really does, because it's just like it kind of runs it out. Oh, man, that's kind of crazy.
But Rodrigo left the room, so we don't have much.
That would be more of our context, kind of just to give it a little bit more.
The only thing I could say within AI is I feel like people should pay attention to AI. I myself am not all that into it, only because I haven't put that much time into it. I do make little efforts to inquire what AI is, or maybe how it could benefit little aspects of my life, or overall how can I use it. I mean, I've used it for Photoshop, which is fun. It makes it easy on some aspects. I think that itself is a whole conversation of like how it affects creativity, how much of a part AI plays in creativity. AI just plays a big part in many people's lives. It's only gonna grow, and so I'm only curious to see how far it will go, how much of an impact it'll make. I mean, it makes a big impact as a whole. So even myself, I try to tell people with AI growing exponentially, where I'm even falling behind, it's just you need to learn AI. People should follow where AI is going, who is watching AI, what skills you can learn for AI, even the basic skills of, Excel, technology as a whole. You need to be tech wise, or you need to get into what's moving on to the tech world, because even though it may take some time, the world is moving to where technology will play a big part into everyday lives.
Oh, that's how it's actually. Yeah, that's crazy. Oh man.
I mean, that's all I could really say. That.
Yeah. What was we got on the docket for the?
Is there anything you'd like to add?
I will say one. Just like this past week, there's been a really, maybe people have seen it on Twitter or not. WWE's been going crazy.
WWE?
Yeah, specifically Road to WrestleMania.
Okay.
Now, there's a lot of plot lines going on here. I don't want to bore you with the unnecessary details, because there's a lot of unnecessary details, but you could argue they're necessary because it's WWE, right? Yeah. But in the past week, a hashtag has been trending called Cody Crybabies. Because The Rock is finally back in town. Now, here's the thing. Just so y'all know, just real quick, spiel. The Rock is on the board of, I believe, TKO, which is the main company Endeavor that is now owning WWE, the IP. So he's like on the board, right? Now, certain things happened on the press release last Thursday. This previous Thursday. Whenever they're talking their shit, whatever the case may be, and it just looks like The Rock's entering a heel character, which for those who know is just the bad guys essentially. Okay. And it's been 21 years since he's done this. Okay. So it's just crazy. Just a lot of just shit happening. Seth Rollins fighting for his story to be relevant. Cody Rhodes, fighting for his story to be relevant.
I think it was Space who told me. For people, so people who do or don't watch WWE, I feel like it's a very interesting sports industry to get into, and they themselves have made their mark doing what they do.
For sure.
it's actually interesting to even think about what investors they have because again, I mean, if you're into investments, people, the stocks and stuff, it's interesting. It's good to see what they're into because who knows how WWE as a whole can grow, and they've definitely made their mark in the world.
Also, technology too. Keep in mind, like the technology is another big thing that people pay to do that kind of stuff to keep track. So. But yeah, no.
But the storyline, I think it was Spaceman who told me. So it seems like WrestleMania, it was supposed to be The Rock versus someone, and then Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. I forget the WWE channel. I'm sorry, the Chief. I just know him as the Chief. I forget his name sometimes. Roman Reigns, but the WWE universe as a whole was so bad about it that the WWE company themselves saw it as like, okay, now we have to switch it back.
Yeah, so it was initially Roman Reigns versus Cody, but then The Rock came in with his big woo-wah, being like, I'm The Rock, and then made it, what was it, him against, it was either him against Roman or something to where like he took what's it called, Cody out of the main event. Yeah. And then he's like, what the fuck? And then Seth Rollins was like, yeah, man, what the fuck? And then from there now it's like, and the fans too are like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? I feel the fans, this was just a win for the fans, TBH. Like, W for the fans. Like, they really helped make it happen because then from there, that's what got The Rock and then be like, hey, we're still going to play this character, but it gave Triple H the room to be like, hey, I make this decision, not you. So pretty interesting shit though.
Definitely a big win for the fans, but I mean, when stuff like that happens, I question. Do you think
the integrity of the company? Yes. I don't think that's not out of the question, but.
Like, was it a bad move on them? Like, of course they saw their mistake, and like the fact that they had to change their whole storyline. Is it? I don't know. Do you feel like it? Yeah, again, it loses integrity. Do you think they lose customers out of it? Do you think people forgive them for that stuff?
Maybe it's one of those things where it's like you have to see it happen because to have an opinion on it, I feel like you need more information.
Exactly.
But given what we do know, though, I do feel it's going to be around for a while.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, overall I'm gonna enjoy it because Spaceman wants to do. He wants to have people over and watch it. And I'm sure if I watch it, all he's gonna do is update me from Royal. What is it, Royal Rumble?
Or the latest like Raw, SmackDown.
Is there another is there any other special main event going on between?
So we got elimination match coming up.
Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, okay. Chamber. Yeah.
Okay, that's so Perth. I mean, maybe we'll watch that. I don't even know yet, honestly. So if we don't watch that, all I know when we watch WrestleMania, Spaceman's gonna update me on the whole storyline from the
you'll be aware of the concept.
Yes, sure. And so. I mean, I'm still gonna enjoy it because I grew up watching wrestling where I thought it was actually real as a whole, but then I come to understand where there is storytelling, but there is still realism to it. People do get injured, they do hurt themselves. They're athletes, yes.
They're professional.
They're trained, athletes. Yes. They definitely take this seriously. This is their job, and you gotta appreciate the effort they put into this. Company overall. But yeah, you can only. I mean, I have my personal opinions on acting, so like you can only go so far with everything. But I definitely love WWE and where they're going.
For sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but yeah, that was one thing for sure that happened this past week that was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to think of some other thing that was just wild. Man, what's something crazy? No, yeah, I can't. It's wild. I hate it. Whenever you just get asked something on the spot, that's just just leaves you. Because usually I would have more shit to say on that. But no, yeah, man, this week, that was the biggest thing. That whole WWE scandal.
When does an Elimination Chamber come out, action?
March. So, quote me.
March. Okay.
I want to say that's because it's in Perth. That much I do know.
All right.
It's gonna be in Perth, Australia.
Well, just to I guess extend it before we end it.
Send it before we end it.
Extend it before we end it. I actually want to ask the question. So I have this quote from Susan Cain, who actually I don't know who it is. I think she's just either a poet or an author. But she has this. Let me try to get your insight on this. When we are young, it's the illusion of perfection that we fall in love with. As we aged, it's the humanness that we fall in love with. The poignant stories of overcoming, the depthful vulnerability of aging, the struggles that grew us in karmic stature, the way a soul shaped itself to accommodate its circumstances, with less energy to hold up our armor, we are revealed, and in the revealing, we call out to each other's hearts. Where before wounds turned us off, there are now revealed as proof that God exists. Where we once saw imperfect scars, we now see evidence of a life fully lived. So the question is, hold on, I have it here. It's not within. Okay, so again, so Susan Cain, this is Susan Cain quote. I'm not sure if it's off of a book or if it's just a saying overall. So she beautifully captures the essence of staying true to oneself, encouraging individuals to embrace their natural inclinations and strengths. How do you feel about her perspective on honoring personal preferences and qualities? So again, if you don't even remember the whole quote itself, like again, how do you feel about honoring personal preferences and qualities as a human being?
That's a good question.
And I guess in a sense, it's even honoring like your morals or beliefs, despite like what you've done in life, even if you've made sin or
depending on whatever your moral code may be. Wow, that's one I really want to actually think about, because like I feel like the answer is like indicative of a person's character or values, you know.
Yep.
So I would want to make a haphazard answer.
Let me read this last part, and then just try to like dissect it from there, which is, with less energy to hold up our armor, we are revealed, and in the revealing, we call out to each other's hearts. Okay. Where before wounds turned us off, they are now revealed as proof that God exists. Where we once saw imperfect scars, we now see evidence of a life fully lived. So even with that last sentence, it's just, we see imperfect scars. So we've gone through shit, but now we see a life fully lived. So like, you go through life, whether you've either committed sin or you've been endowed in sin, where you've been a victim to sin, and now with all these scars you've endorsed or taken in, do you feel like it just shows who you are as a character, and then does it play a part into living a fully lived life?
I think it plays a part in if you identify with it. Identity is a big thing about that, right? Like for instance, like if you were to identify yourself as someone who's successful as opposed to someone who's unsuccessful, your beliefs would actually inform your actions, which it's not. Most people act backwards, where it's like, my action, like, they act a certain way because they think they are a certain way, but it's like, if you believe you are a certain way or want to become a certain way, you have to come from the mindset of it, and the becoming comes from doing. So it's like perspective shift, right? So on that, whenever we're said in the end of that little line there, it makes sense where it's like in the revealing, like bringing down your show, like you can be more transparent, but like that requires you putting in more work on yourself too.
Yeah.
Like being able to go to the dark depth of yourself, which isn't fun. I don't know if people are open to like the concept of like shroom therapy, but
shroom therapy.
Yeah. There's some very like long-lasting methods that help deal with even chronic depression, just because it's it's this idea of just diving deep within the self and then just being like, fuck, that's me. Okay, coming to accept that, loving that, and then in the loving of that aspect of yourself, you become to have more control of who you are, because you have a stronger sense of self. So
yes, sir.
Yeah, it's pretty potent if you kind of just follow the thought long enough.
Mm-hmm. Which I mean, I feel the same way, man. Overall, like people,
Nice.
excuse me,
Powerful.
you know, people have like their scars, and it's either you recognize them for what they are and embrace them, because obviously, because as you grow as like even as yourself as a producer, CEO, or as you grow, you wanna you take in so much, and would you feel comfortable with sharing everything as a whole as you grow, or would you?
I've had to be
like,
more restrictive for sure.
Yeah, like, do you feel like
I don't share the vision.
Like, I don't think you need to
as
share
much.
everything, and
It depends.
like, yeah, it definitely does depend, and with like those scars, it's just, I think people should see, share the parts you want to share, and
Be
in hopes that
with,
in hopes that people accept that and they get taken the lessons of what you learned and how you can grow out of fully accepting the person you've become from what you've experienced.
Yeah, especially as you're being molded if you're in the middle of it, right?
Yo.
So it's like they can appreciate you for who you are at that moment.
Yo.
Yeah, I mean that's big. That's tricky, but it's big.
I mean,
What you thinking?
I mean, if there's nothing else to add, like,
No, I'm really trying to think about this past week, but I feel like that was like, as far as the
This
topics, that was some of the biggest shit.
I mean, if we're gonna end on this past week, man. So recently, I had to write somebody up at work.
Ooh.
Fine. I mean, okay.
Work drama.
So I've had
graphic work drama.
For real work drama. I've had to write up people on 4 separate occasions, but for this one, like, it was more or less, it was one I had to do where I felt personally, I'm like, okay, you've crossed the line, and like, I'm done.
Got you.
So, as a human being, I mean,
and this is repeated offense.
In a sense, yeah.
Like
in a
from the
sense,
same person.
Yeah, in a sense. So, okay, so, I mean, I guess this kind of goes into morals and stuff, man.
Okay.
Like, so I work again, people. I work in warehousing, and I work for a business, and obviously while doing all this other stuff that I hope to grow in itself, and to get me out of like a 9-to-5 work schedule. Again, I work a 9-to-5 work schedule where it's a real company. There's rules and policies. But I do appreciate what it's taught me. It's taught me a lot in leadership and just following through on a lot of things, how business works and talking. But I had a conversation with Pierce the other day, and it kind of irritated me because so we were talking about like a certain program and stuff, which I understand. I understood the vision of it. I accepted what this one guy's input of it, because he said, like, even if you don't believe in it, like, you want to put in the effort for this reason, because maybe it'll make this person feel appreciated. Gotcha. Which I understood that aspect of it, which I agree.
I want to consider their thoughts,
because the overall picture of the whole thing, I didn't believe in it, because I felt like it was very underappreciative, like the whole scope of it.
Like even the concept of it.
Okay, so I mean, it just started with this like reward program.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get a certain amount of rewards to get something out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, and
so it was just like incentivized. Yeah. It's just performance.
Pretty much. Okay. And one of my peers in that conversation, he was just like, well, the overall scope of it, yeah, it's really not worth shit. But you need to sell it
to get people
to believe like it is worth something, and then even if they don't want the overall prize out of it, I guess, or what they get out of it, maybe they would simply just appreciate the fact to be like appreciated as a worker, which I understand. Simply there is people out there who simply just want to be appreciated. I'm like, damn, like you do see that I'm putting in the work.
Exactly.
Or that I'm overall here to do my job compared to others.
Like I'm clocking in.
Yeah, like I'm here, I'm producing my numbers, and so I'm like, okay, like I do accept that. But within that conversation, I didn't like that they, all my peers in that conversation, they were like, you have to kind of be fake. If you want, like, you have to be fake in this business if you want to grow, if you want to do this stuff, and I'm just like,
Yeah, I disagree, but it's like I feel for that statement because it's kind of been the thing that people have to believe. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's necessary at all. I think you can be very transparent, authentic, and real.
Exactly.
It's just going to take you longer. That's all it is. I just feel like it's just going to take you much longer than the person that isn't.
And so, yeah, it gets into like this write-up either way. Okay. And it's just one of those moments where, again, like I've done write-ups before, but I've done them in the case where I didn't fully believe in them.
It was just more so you were just trying to.
And so it gets into not a Band-Aid. It was just so also within the company. It's just like, again, leadership as a whole. You have to be made to look like you're stood together, even if you don't agree on everything. Which again, I understand because you wanna, as a team, you wanna be like, okay, we are aligned, even if we don't agree with each other. Yeah. But I don't like the whole putting on like a mask. Like, got you. Yeah, I overall don't agree with this, but the overall consensus is we have to do this because
I feel like if it's more of a personal perspective, you have the freedom to remove yourself from any situation. Yeah. Granted, if you're in a contractual obligation, then you have to fulfill that.
Exactly, and so which is where I am, in my workspace. With my peers, I'm glad that I've been able to express myself, but I do have to be careful even within itself, because again, words could be turned against yourself, and I've had that experience. I've recently within my workspace I've had that experience. It's not his first time, but it's not his first time, but. Yeah, man, you definitely just gotta watch out with people because even if you express yourself truthfully, in the end they will use your words against you. But in this sense, again, with this write-up, this person, man, like you've tried to help them so much, because again, I've grown in like the employee, how do you say? I guess hierarchy or what'd you say?
Like the incubator?
In the employee incubator, the hierarchy of things. I've grown from the bottom, and now I'm in management, where it is a different realm. But so I understand, you go through life and shit. And I don't really pry into people's businesses, but I try to look out for people as much as I can. But this specific individual will just not follow through. They caught an attitude up the ass, which they've done in different occasions, and so I finally had to write them up. Honestly, forgot where the whole point of.
I was remembering that point of that one too. I was like,
I forgot where the whole point of this was really going, but I guess
shout out to.
I guess to go into the point of like just being morals. I think it was the
premise.
Yeah, it's. I want to do things fair because in the world of business, it's not fair.
There's a lot of room for it to not be.
In the world of business, there's a lot of room for it to not be fair.
Here's a way to look at it too. I would say it's like, don't let yourself be easily leveraged, because in business you'll be over leveraged quickly. Yeah. And almost without any hesitation, depending on what industry you're in,
Yeah, and in the situation, so in this one, it's just like I wrote this person up just in the fact because, okay, now you have crossed the point where I have helped you. I've tried to help you so much, but now you're just ignorant to a point where, okay, I'm done with you. And if you want to look at it at the other way, then that's okay. Unfortunately, again, this is a business. I try to be as honest as I can with you and actually look out for you, but now that you're playing against me and it's affecting, my role, we have to do something about it. I don't like having, because again, this write up, it could have fired the person.
Gotcha.
I don't want to get rid of somebody. I actually.
But at the same point, you're trying to track the severity of what was actually.
Yeah, and that's where it sucks. It's a business. Mm-hmm. If we're gonna succeed, like, we need the people who are actually about it. And if you're gonna trip over small shit, and if you can't prove yourself to actually get over things, to put your emotions aside overall, and understand the full scope of things, then you're not needed.
I couldn't agree more. I was really trying to find a cooler way to say
it.
It's like, no,
it's sad, bro. It sucks, but it's true.
It's just, it is what it is. Like,
it is what it is.
That's just such a. I feel like you want to dive into that deeper, but it's just kind of the reality of that.
I mean, that's a different conversation. We could
but that's because it's responsibility. It's like, like, there's a consequence to those actions, and you have to be open to them.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it does suck with, like, morals with the people, with my peers, because that's the same. I felt offended a little bit because one of my peers as well, like, the way he was describing my team, because this is a different, management guy. Like, I felt a little offended just because, like, the words he was using, I was like, okay, look, you may think some people in my team are, I guess, bad, but I don't know. But I am just in productivity, in business, and so, like, I am not a full religious man. I like to think of myself as a man of God, and being just, and so I just think in the eyes of God, it's just not. In the business aspect, it's just wrong to think low of people, despite their personalities. How ignorant they could be.
That's fair.
And I don't like it when people are ignorant. Don't get me wrong, I hate it, but they'll talk down on people. Like, people can change and be better, and that's what I hope for. But then when you prove to be not,
that's a person showing who they are and who their character is, and you have to embrace it or at least understand it as that.
And so it's just again, that's where I stand my ground. Like, okay, don't doubt people, but of course, unfortunately, in the end of all things, if they prove themselves to be invaluable, then yes. I mean, in this world, you need to put them aside. Yeah.
You're gonna need that. Someone that can just check you and type shit. I would say for sure. Sheesh. Well, I mean, yeah, those are kind of the main things at least I had on that topic. What do you think?
I mean, that's kind of really it, man. That's all I could kind of share.
Basic Convo. What, episode 11?
This will be 10. Unfortunately, so
I'm always one episode ahead.
Every time I say. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. We would have been on 11, but we didn't follow through on the other episodes just because I felt like it wasn't exactly where it should have been.
Quality control.
Yes.
Crucial.
But I'm glad we were able to do this one to have to upload
Sam
for
Altman.
next week. Yo, Sam Altman. But next week we'll have Castle, and you'll see that episode in the following week. Definitely, yeah. Content, trying to keep the consistency. I think which I felt Thursdays, I feel like is a good where we record and upload at the same day. So I'm trying to have the episodes upload.
Well, I mean, the good thing is the audio now is finally edited, so
Yeah.
once I send it to you, you just got it.
Yeah.
So we've been growing it. We've been staying consistent, and now we're just getting the flow.
Yes,
The next thing is the streaming. Stay tuned on the Smash tournament.
Bro, the Smash
that one.
tournament.
Stay tuned on the next one.
I'm excited for the next one, honestly.
No, it's gonna be great. We may have a couple special guests. I'm holding off on the announcements until we can get a graphic.
Ooh, special guests.
A couple. We have a couple special guests, but there's gonna be one main one.
Yeah, definitely a graphic. I mean, if I have to do it,
worst case scenario, we'll do it together. But I feel like we got some resources that we can leverage.
I'm definitely wanting to make like a poster of some sort because that's with just the with word of mouth, it turned out good.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, let's get the community on it. You know?
Yeah, and so overall, if we just spread it as a whole community, like it definitely would have a better turnout.
Yeah, and I'm gonna run the idea by some of our team members to get it going. Yeah, it's gonna be great. People, stay tuned. Look at the socials. Follow us.
Is there anything you want to end with this, Natty? Is there anything you'd like to share?
Follow me at Daniel Bear on Instagram. Follow Basik at Basik Creator on Instagram.
Basik Creator.
And we got some pretty fun stuff coming. There's a couple personal things that I didn't say in this pod that I'm saving for the Casso pod. But just know that we got some fun, exciting things for people who are watching Basik because we got some media formats that we're planning on testing this year. So I'll make a subtle announcement of my progress on that project.
Yes, sir.
So stay tuned next pod. Watch the Casso pod. It's gonna be lit.
Other than that, like have a good night, folks. We're at 10 p.m. Texas time. Have a good night.
Watch us start doing gang signs.
Gang signs.
Nah, but we love y'all.
Yeah, for real, man. Thank y'all. And that's the end. Go.
Right, yo, booty's black.
Booty black.
Do you guys want to practice match?
Hell yeah.